So the last time I was here was on the 15th of May. And since then, we've seen a divergence in markets. So we've seen Nasdaq up 14%. We've seen the Nikkei and the S&P up 8%. We've seen Europe flat. And we've seen the FTSE down 4%, and we've seen the FTSE 250. And that will be very painful for a lot of people because there was much chat about moving out of the US into Europe at that time. And there was much chat. I think one of our conversations was earlier on in the year was about how many analysts were upgrading the FTSE at 8,000. And I think our conversation is that there is a lot of challenging environment. There's a very challenging environment in the UK. We've got the 5 financial health indicators. So I think that what we got right was that we got right the UK. And I think, Karen, you asked me a question about technology, and we discussed buying technology via sectors, and so I think we were right on that, and that we start with large cap banks. But I don't think that I saw that we would have another 15% rally in Nasdaq, and so I think that has surprised me. I've also been surprised by the strength of sterling, and I think that's not a macro call, that's a yield call. And that really shapes the way I'm thinking about things now. But at the heart of it, I remain very worried about the United Kingdom, and I think that there's been a crescendo. We like that word, a crescendo.
On a well-known messaging platform that wasn't Threads yesterday.
And I give credit to Schumann, who was a German composer in 1810. And when you listen to his music, it's about a crescendo. And there's definitely a crescendo in the cost of living crisis in the United Kingdom. And there's some very good work done by the OBR. There's some very good work done by...
You just mentioned the OBR. You've actually brought in the Office of Budget Responsibility pamphlet.
150 pages.
Have you read all 150 pages?
I've read the first 50 pages.
Goodness me, you deserve a medal for
well,
that. If we were handing out CNBC medals, you'd get one for that.
Thank you. And to that, I think the Resolution Foundation has written good things recently, and I think that the Institute for Economic and Social Research has also. And what this does, for me, is it portrays a business model that is extremely challenged.
Can I just pick up on your comments on markets and the sort of musical noises that it's making? It seems as though there is some irrational exuberance in quarters of the market, and as we stretch out into what comes next, it feels as though a lot of fund managers are looking for areas of the market that have not lifted off, that there will be some breadth in the rally. That may not necessarily be the case, right? We could just have a reset in terms of some of the market performance we already witnessed, which means that all bets don't perform at this stage. What's your view for the second half?
Yeah, so what am I thinking right now? One of the old traders who I used to work with said, there's a time to fish and there's a time to mend nets. And for me, it's a time to mend nets. So I'm in housekeeping. And that would be my advice to the clients who watch your program, is that it's time to review big positions within your portfolio. So how big is AI? How big is Microsoft? How big is Apple? And my view is that it's worth, that there's no reason why you shouldn't top slice some of what I call the AI froth. So I think it's a time for careful thought around the weightings within your portfolio. And as we said, actually Steve and I at the beginning of the year, I don't like chasing things. So for me, it's about housekeeping.
Sounds like a boring phase in a way, if you're just housekeeping, looking over portfolios. But what sort of return should you be looking at then if it's a slower phase and it's not as exciting as the first half? What's a normal level that you would be looking for in terms of performance? I
mean, normal returns on markets, let's say 6%, and you booked 35% this year on Nasdaq. So that's you've had 6 years return in 6 months. The markets have been very generous. The markets have been very kind. And if you look at the performance of the markets, if you didn't buy Europe in the first 6 weeks, you've been chasing it. You've probably been getting it wrong. You've been out of the money in the FTSE 100. You've been out of the money in the FTSE 250. But the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and to a lesser extent the Nikkei, it's been a gradual but aggressive climb up. You've had many opportunities to do it. So I think you've had a lot of your return and performance for this year.